Dumbledore's authority as headmaster is threatened by the arrival of a new character, Dolores Umbridge, whose wardrobe is rather striking.
Pink is Dolores's colour, basically, and the notion was, as her power increased at Hogwarts, and she got more and more control of the school, which is always her plan. Ultimately, she wanted to become headmistress, and she achieves that. She would be able to, in a way, pinkify the whole of Hogwarts.
I think they were very keen on making her start off sort of, gentle pink, and then as her character, in a way, became more controlling and sort of filled out and was carrying out her mission, the pink gets a little more intense as we go on. So finally she's extremely pink.
But it was more than just the colour they thought about.
I said I'd love her to have a sort of a little aura around, with the Angora aura, but with just a little sort of, I don't know, glow around her that feels soft.
So we found this Angora, which was actually quite hard to find. I had to find it in France. This is the Angora Super. It's really, really soft. The more you wash it, and the more fluffy it becomes. And it's so fluffy, so lovely. When she had a difficult scene, we put lots of fabric like that with hair, like she was very soft always. When like she's really mean, yes, when she's very mean.
So all of these costumes, every single one, are for Dolores Umbridge. Just one character. And look, it's not all CGI,
Students will raise their hands when they speak in my class.
Who said the camera never lies? After the break, Gary Oldman discusses his character's rags to riches transformation.
You could introduce me to your mother.
And we discover how personal hygiene should never stand in the way of a good costume.
It's really horrible because I sweat so much.
Now, I've got some pressing business to attend to. See you in a bit. Welcome back. Now, we've come behind the scenes of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, but the magic we're looking for today is all the stuff that's stitched and patched and ripped and generally wrecked. In fact, the rise and rise of the dark side in this film really gave the costume department something to get their teeth into. Lord Voldemort's most loyal supporters, the Death Eaters, appear in the film in terrifying form. They're led by Lucius Malfoy.
When we first appear in this film, we have these terrifying masks on, which have been moulded to our face, which are really, even to me, they're very spooky to look at.
The masks were designed by concept artist Rob Bliss.
On the film previously, they had the mask partially covered the face, but I thought it'd be more creepy to try and, cover the whole face. The idea was to create a uniformed look across a group, but each one has their particular designs and motifs on the mask that they could personally identify with each other,
These are warriors. In the end, that's what wizards are, that's what they do, and I'm ready for battle. And this is a kind of leather suit of armour.
And just like the masks, each of the Death Eaters' costumes has a slightly different design.
From the mask, we took those designs, which were engraved in the mask, and we developed with the fabric of the costume different embroidery, and as you see, they all looked already damaged because we wanted to feel that some of the costumes were really old. You see, like this one is less damaged, but this one you feel that the gold has been scratched, and then this one is even older because you can feel that it has been frail.
A total of 40 Death Eater costumes were required, each of them hand embroidered. How long would something like this take?
Well, I actually had people in the end. It turned into a whole embroidery department. It was just me on my own to start with, so in the end there was 5 people stitching to get through the quantities. So you could probably do a robe in a day, and maybe the leather would take about a day and a half. So
wow, so it was a pretty time-intensive thing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you make it look gorgeous and wonderful and spectacular, but then it goes off to the breaking down department, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and they almost put character into the costume. It might look a bit new and a bit flat when it comes from our department, but they've sprayed into the leather and give it a bit more depth.
Do you ever look at it and go, but it looks so great, you can't ruin it?
Yeah, you have to let it go. You just have to give in to that because you can't be too precious.
The Order of the Phoenix sees Lord Voldemort growing in strength and power. And this is reflected in a new costume which contains 50 metres of silk. That's around half the length of a football pitch.
Jenny did about 4 or 5 versions for me to decide on. She's fantastic. She knows that I guess I'm quite particular about feeling right. I think it's very important to feel right in what you're wearing as an actor. It has to feel right. If you feel at all that it's not right, it often disturbs you.
You should never be stopped when you design a costume by the practicality of it. Never. Because they can always make it work out. And it's really a pity to think, oh my God, it will never be, it's so unpractical, it's going, because look at Voldemort, he's walking around with 50 meters of silk, which will be impossible for anybody to carry. He makes it work.
Bellatrix Lestrange is one of Voldemort's most devoted followers, and after 14 years in Azkaban prison, her style is somewhat dilapidated chic. Helena, you're looking gorgeous.
Do you think so?
Yeah. Is this?
That was the intent.
It's something that you've managed to achieve in spectacular style.
Well, you see, first of all, they were going to put me in a sack when they originally, sort of the first costume fitting. But I thought, she's got to be sexy. I don't have many lines in this, but I thought I'd better have, breasts. These aren't mine.
They're not yours?
No, and I thought she should be a bit shapely, so I've got this.
So you had your
no, these aren't mine. I mean, the top bits obviously aren't.
The top bits are?
I'm rather pleased with her.
I think having seen, if it were not for the teeth, I think she is a very sexy character.
Thank you. My idea was that from about 6 feet, she looks actually quite attractive, but then from a foot, it all falls apart.
Itty, bitty, baby.
Potter.
I showed her that, and
so Helena comes in and you say, right, this is the idea that I've got.
And then she didn't like the difference here.
Right.
Because I thought that could be nice if you have sort of transparence here, and she didn't like the sophistication of it, and I think she was right. But she loved the sleeves very much.
I knew it was going to be hot, so I had all these air holes, and I wanted her to be sexy, and I thought, have a bit of flesh.
And apparently, the trout pout is all the rage in Azkaban.
The secret with having fake teeth is they actually make your lips fuller.
So they push your lips out slightly as well, yeah. So like that, it looks like you've just been to LA and had a bit
Don't you think?
Yeah, but I totally agree. I think she's very striking, and then she smiles.